Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Big shout out to the notification gang. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. So in today's video, we're going to be continuing on from the relationship topics. Ideally, I would have loved to have Farai with me so that we can discuss this, but he's a very busy man. So we're just going to have to continue on without him. So I know you guys have been waiting for this content, so we're going to be going on ahead with it. So last time when I did my video on why you don't need a boyfriend and my top tips for a relationship, you guys asked me to dive a little deeper into some of my tips. So we're going to start off today with talking about boundaries in a relationship. Boundaries. Very, very important in a relationship. Super important for many, many reasons. But I'm going to give you guys my top reasons for boundaries, and then also give you examples of the boundaries that I have set in my relationship. Okay, so the top reasons for having boundaries in a relationship is: one, you know exactly what it is that you don't want to do in that relationship. By things you don't want to do, I mean sexually, physically, mentally, emotionally, all areas of your life. You know exactly what you want to do. You as a girl set boundaries in the sense that I don't want to do this until this. I don't want to have sex before marriage. I don't want to kiss before marriage. I don't want to do this. Those are the boundaries that you set as yourself as a girl. So that's number one. Number two is the boundaries that you set for your partner. This is all conversation between you and your partner, especially when you're setting boundaries that involve the two of you. You have to come to a mutual agreement on the boundaries that you set. If you're not able to come to a mutual agreement, then obviously you need to pray about it and seek counsel, and then decide whether you want to continue on with that relationship, considering that the person isn't willing to follow your boundaries. And I'm talking about the big boundaries, such as, you know, if you don't want to have sex before marriage, that's a big boundary that you have to set. And if your partner doesn't want to respect that, and that's a big deal, then obviously, you know, it's something that you really need to look into. When you set boundaries between the two of you, it makes sure that you don't lose track, and if you do, you know where to go back to. And it also means that you just don't end up in weird situations where you're like, oh, how did this happen? Because you know the boundaries that you've set and you've agreed upon the boundaries together. That's one of the most important parts, that you agree upon the boundaries together. Not that I am enforcing a boundary onto my partner, or, you know, I'm enforcing that you don't have to marry me until this time. You can come to a mutual agreement with one another where both of you have to compromise, or, you know, some things you can compromise on, some things you don't compromise on, such as things that have to do with your faith. There's no compromise on things such as your faith and what is written in the Word of God. There's no compromise with things like that. Once you have set your boundaries, and you have your boundaries, and you have boundaries for your partner, and your partner has set his boundaries and he has boundaries for you, you can sit down together and say, this is not what I want to do, this is not what I want to do, this is what I want to do, this is something that we can compromise on. So I'll give you guys some examples for me and in my relationship, the boundaries that we have set and how we agreed upon those boundaries. As I said in my previous video, me and Farai sat down very early on in our relationship and decided the boundaries that we wanted to have. He was feeling in his heart and I was feeling in my heart that we just wanted to do something different. And I remember, because I was feeling it, but I was like, oh, how is he gonna take it when I say this? And I just didn't want to say it. You know, sometimes when you have something in you that you're like, oh, I can feel that this is not gonna be received very well. But if I was feeling the exact same way, and he actually was the one who initiated the conversation, saying, you know what, Tatenda, I feel like that we should commit our relationship with God. We had decided from that point on that we just wanted to consecrate our relationship and commit it to God, and save the first kiss for marriage and save everything for marriage for one another. So that's one of the boundaries that we had both set for ourselves, and then we sat down together and we discussed it, and we found out that we were both feeling the same way anyway. So that was one of the agreements that we decided to follow with each other, and we have never regretted that decision. And we've seen God flourish in our relationship because of that. Yeah, one of the other boundaries that we have set, these ones are the more sort of minute ones, is that, you know, there are certain areas that we don't go to, certain things that we don't do with one another, such as, you know, I've never been to like swimming with Farah in terms of like the beach in a bikini and stuff. I have never been into his bedroom. I've been to his house obviously with his family and stuff, but I've never ever stepped into his house with me and him alone. And that's just some of the stuff that we have come to agreement on with each other, and the boundaries that I have set and the boundaries that he has set. Like, there's just some places and some things that we don't do with each other, because at the end of the day it's not benefiting us at all, and it's not benefiting what we are trying to do and the boundaries that we have set. It's like, why make something hard for yourself? Why make a boundary that you've set for yourself even harder by doing something that's gonna make it harder? When instead of going to the beach, or instead of, you know, doing this, you can go watch a movie, or you can go do something else, you can go for a picnic, you know, things that are out in the open that are not going to cause any problems. So that's just something that we agreed upon together, and we enjoy. We don't feel like we're limiting one another or limiting ourselves at all, and we know that we're doing it because of God and for the sake of God and to glorify him and for a prosperous relationship. It's really important to just have that communication between the two of you and between yourself and God, that this is what I want to do. And don't feel ashamed or sad or silly or stupid or outdated if you have decided that these are the boundaries that you have set. Such as if you have decided that you want to remain abstinent, if you've decided that you want to wait until marriage, that's the decision that you have made, and you are allowed to make that decision, and you have to stand by that decision. And if other people want to have anything to say about that, or if, you know, your partner has something to say about that, then you know that at the end of the day, either that person has to respect your boundary, or they're not the right person for you. Because boundaries are very, very important in a relationship. Very, very important. And I would urge everyone who is in a relationship, or who is thinking of being in a relationship, or even if you're not and you're just young and you're thinking about later on in life when you're going to be dating, make sure that already now you begin thinking about the boundaries that you want to set, and the boundaries that you want to have, and the things that you would like for your relationship. Because the sooner you start thinking about it, the sooner you start making up your mind on what you want to do and how far you're willing to go and this and that, the easier and the better it will be for you once you do get into a relationship, because you know already what it is you want, what it is you don't want. So you're not going to take any nonsense from some little boy that comes trying to sweet talk you or whatever. So yeah, I hope you guys have liked this video. If you have any questions or comments, or you want to message me or DM me, feel free. If you have any questions that you want to ask, let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, like the video if you like the video. I will see you guys next week. I love you guys so much. Mwah.